in this next episode of The Offside. And
The Otros podcast, we will preview the India's third test match, India-England third test match happening at the Lords. We will talk about possible team changes, probable playing 11s, and Shri will walk us through his experience of touring the Lords.
yep, join us. Hey Arvind, how's it going?
Hey, Shri.
Ah, man, coming back after a good victory for India, feeling positive, exactly opposite to how we were at the beginning, at the preview of the second test.
Yep.
Uh, what are your thoughts for the third? Very less turnaround time between two and three.
I would say it's sort of good. India has upper hand. We are going
Yeah,
into this game with the best possible momentum. So I'd probably say this is, and rightfully so. After the first loss, we sort of had 10 days to buckle down and unwind. So that also played in our favor. And then, more importantly, we have Jasprit Bumrah, who's not even likelier. Shubman
he
confirmed
will
it. He's
play.
going to play. He will play. So
He
that's
is
going to
going to
be a
play.
big boost. And no better time, especially in a test match where I think our pace bowlers got like 16, 17 wickets.
Yep.
No better time to, bolster it a bit more with who else? And,
I
Jasprit.
mean, this is exactly what we were worried at the beginning of the second test, where when we heard news that Jofra Archer could potentially back, we're like, you're taking a bowling lineup which took 20 wickets and you're adding an amazing bowler to it.
I know, right? Yeah.
We're on the other end of that. Like, that feels so good.
It feels good for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So now that we've brought up, like, I want to talk about what do you think India could change? Like, is it going to be
There's two ways
why
to.
is it going to be why break a winning combination? Just bring in Bumrah because it's Bumrah, or do you think there will be more changes?
I think that's going to be the case. There's going to be only one change as I see it. Bumrah comes in again. Prasid, I would think. I would say he would lose out likely. So that's probably the only change I see Team India making. Again, it's probably going to be the case of hey, why change something that's been working? So if I were to bet on it, that's probably going to be the only change that we would make. Sure, we can nitpick a couple of players' performance, and if they do really justify their selection. We could, start with say Karun Nair. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts?
Um, I'd give him another chance because I mean,
Yeah, I agree.
if it's not like see, it is definitely harsh on Sai Sudarshan to drop him after the first test where he did not do badly. He was okay. He was actually playing well in the second innings, but I feel like uh, Karun Nair hasn't done badly. Like it's
Mhm.
not like he has thrown his wicket away or he has gotten out when India was under pressure. I felt like in the first innings also he actually got us out of that pressure, gave momentum to the innings, just got out to an unfortunate like
It-
a snorter of a delivery from Brydon Cars. The second innings, I definitely felt he was loose with his shot making, but again I felt like India was trying to go for their shots, like even KL, Yashasvi, everybody. So I'll probably say it was a strategy to kind of go aggressive.
so, yep.
So I'll give him another chance. Like, yeah, do you feel so?
His features do. Yeah, instead of saying he's done nothing wrong, he. No, again, I wouldn't even say he deserves another chance. It's likely going to be the case of don't really change much when things
Yeah.
are working overall. There's been many way more positives than we could, count for. So, give him this rope. It's probably he's going to be in a good frame of mind as well, and it's a game that's going to follow really quick in a couple of days' time. So it just makes more sense to have him in the team.
And he's taken good slip catches. So that is
And
something.
he's been a black hole. Like he's like literally sucked up anything and everything that has come his way. So
That's
we'll
actually a
take it.
nice.
Yeah.
That's actually a nice description.
Yeah. Given that we've been not so great at slip fielding and slip catches, on all those grounds, we'll take him.
Yeah. So that's one. And then
What
big
about
point.
Nitish Kumar Reddy? Is that
Ah,
one?
actually, you think Shardul was bad, and Nitish's performance on paper was arguably worse in the sense that he scored
Uh-huh.
like 2 runs in both the innings. He didn't get a single wicket. Um, but I personally feel one difference between him and Shardul was that Nitish definitely is a better batter than Shardul. like
Oh,
no
for
doubt.
sure. Yeah, I agree.
I would just want to see him at number 7 if he is playing instead of number 6. Number 6 has to be Jadeja, especially after the innings he after the two innings he
Agreed.
produced in the last game.
Yeah.
But as a bowler, if you really look at it, when
Hmm.
Shardul came on in the first innings, he did not keep the energy scoring rate low. He
He
actually
didn't.
leaked runs all over the place at 6 runs and over.
Yep.
Nitish in both the innings, especially the time in the second innings or in the first innings, where Jamie Smith and Brook were going great guns, him and Prasid actually bowled a 4-5 over spell where they bowled two maidens each, essentially.
Yep.
And he did produce a catch. If you think about it, he did produce a catch where Pant was not low enough.
I
So
was
he
about
kind
to
of,
say, yeah, mention that as well. Yeah, he did.
yeah,
He did. Get you a chance. So
which
he
is
did all
what
right.
Morne Morkel has been talking about, that he has
Yep.
the ability to take a wicket. So I would like to couple Nitish with Washington Sundar in the sense that India went in with eight batting options. It definitely served them well. We scored like whatever, like
Hmm.
580 and then
Yep.
scored 400, whatever, odd in the second innings, 300 odd something, and then we took 20 wickets. So it's all justified.
Hmm.
But if you actually go to think about it, Washington was not effective. And for that matter, even Jadeja wasn't effective. He's not been a wicket taker.
As a as a bowler, yes, I would agree. There is, definitely they don't have wickets to show.
Yeah.
But then they definitely justified enough with the bat to be that bowling all rounders in the team who could give you the much needed 100 odd runs that
That's
we crave
correct.
for.
That's correct. But I would again argue you are coming off a very short gap between game two and game three.
Hmm.
You have Siraj who's played both games. You've had Akashdeep who's just played one game and he's coming off. So if your spinners are not able to bowl longer spells or be those wicket takers,
Right.
would you potentially be stuck in a situation where you have to bring back your fast bowlers for wickets and they will be jaded and not be able to produce those results?
You bring up a great point. I think we sort of saw England team face the
Correct.
brunt of the same sort of theory. Uh, i- is it likely to happen? Could it happen? Very well, yeah. Like, ballers are, humans end of the day, so they are likely going to wear out. Uh, but I think what's going to play out in India's favor is sort of the rhythm and the positive mindset we are in. So there's going to be this, like rush of blood, which is just going to help them and work out in their favor. And the biggest psychological backing is Jasprit Bumrah is going to be back,
Yeah.
and he's likely going to, of course, take wickets, bring more chances. So probably you could, play on the fact that you could, you have good sharp right bowling lineup enough to rotate. And if you're saying five bowlers aren't enough, then
No,
sort of begs the question.
I'm not saying five bowlers aren't enough. I'm just
Yeah.
saying uh, combined Nitish and Washington Sundar. Now, given that your top order for whatever reason has looked in pristine form, like
Yep.
your top two, Karun Nair, so in form,
Yep.
Gill out of this world, Pant 200s and that swashbuckling innings in the last game, Jadeja playing that amazing hand. You have probably five batters out of the top six who are in brilliant form. Like you
Hmm.
can't be in any better form. Given that, do you still want two all rounders down the order who, instead of whom, again, bring in Kuldeep Yadav? Like,
I
why not?
honestly, I don't have a good technical reason to sort of counter your argument. You have a fair point. But thinking and sort of trying to put myself in this Indian think tank's shoes, and which they're likely going to do, they're going to be resistant to change, especially change like a winning combination. But to give oil to that thought, should they want to change and bring Kuldeep in, who's going to be like a really, really effective wicket-taking bowler? Based on results and based on numbers, I'm probably going to swing on the side of probably likely like try dropping Nitish because he hasn't really done much with the bat, and Washi looks solid enough to say that he's probably likely going to continue and give you that 30-40 runs, which is much needed. And again, Nitish, barring that one chance, hasn't really looked effective in bowling either. He would probably be my pick to, pick to be swapped with Kuldeep. Should we get there? Again, are we going to get there? Maybe not. And I was also going through, some of the test matches that has happened, or the last test matches, last 5 to 6 test matches that has been played in Lords. Most teams have gone with the combination of like, 3 to 4 paces, hands down,
Hmm.
and that one spinner. So. I'm likely going to think and believe that that's going to be the case. And yeah, I mean, again, having said that, I'd probably also mention the fact that is Kuldeep even going to get a game in this series? He'll definitely get a game. Likely touted that Manchester is probably going to be that
Oval?
game where it's
Do
more.
we play a game at Oval?
I think so, yes,
Yeah, if we
where
play
it's
in
more
Oval, I
more
think he will definitely play.
conducive to sort of spin bowling.
Yeah,
Lords again arguably has a dry pitch
yeah,
which in
yeah,
theory should favor spinners as well.
yeah.
But again, it's just going to be the fact that why change a winning combination? Both Jadeja and Washi can bowl chip in with that 10 to 15 overs. Uh, that's probably likely going to be the case.
Yeah. I mean, I see your point. I personally, I mean, the thought process where it's coming in is
Hmm.
you had your pace bowlers effectively break the back of the English batting in the first spell with the fast ball, like with the new ball in the last game. But in the first innings, especially when we had the 300 run partnership, we really looked nowhere near taking a wicket. Our bowlers did not even look threatening. Again, Bumrah is
Hmm.
back. Bumrah is going to be that bowler who can make a difference with the new ball as well as the old ball. And it's funny how just one player in an 11 kind of changes your complete mindset in the sense
Psyche
that
of
you're like,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, you think wicket taker, hey, you have Bumrah. But the thing I wanna shy away from is you are almost taking that one player in either Nitish or Washington as that security or that insurance
True.
policy
Yes.
for in case something goes wrong. Coming off a good momentum, I would want to see us be more aggressive and go for that win, but I don't know if that happens.
Agreed. And I think here's what's happened, right? First test match, we sort of bundled out. The tail didn't really contribute much. We made few changes, likely call them as fix, and it worked in the
Yeah.
second test match.
Yeah.
So again, it's probably going to be the case that hey, we know that this theory, this combination works. So and knowing that the pitch isn't really going to be as conducive to like a top rank spinner, maybe just continue with what you have.
Sure. So given this, what our likely 11 would be? Like I you can
I think pretty, yeah, for me, as I mentioned, since 10 out of 11 players who play that second test match is going to be the
yeah.
same, I would just make a like to like swap, when I mean like to like swap
Yeah.
bowler,
Bowler.
Prasidh Krishna
Pace
going
bowler
out
for a
and,
pace bowler.
just with coming, yeah, pace bowler for the base bowler, not the quality
Yeah,
and
for
grade of it.
me, I'll probably
That's
make,
likely going to be the change. So,
yeah,
mhm,
I'll make two. Same, the Bumrah for Prasid comes in, and I would ideally want to remove Nitish and bring in a
swap.
Kuldeep. Yeah,
Mhm.
but one more swap I would do is bat Jadeja number six,
Oh,
play
sure. That is
Nitish
likely
number
going to happen.
Washington number seven, and
Yes.
then your bowlers come in. I don't know if that happens, but it's so nice that in the last time we were talking about so many changes and possible combinations for India. Now it seems like one victory, a good positive momentum has given us a more um,
So,
a stable base. England, on
yes.
the other hand, seem to have a few problems of their own.
They really got to sit and like talk through things. If we really got to nitpick, we probably got to start at the very top. Zach Crawley hasn't
Yeah.
really been helping his case. Uh, so I don't know if there are being any, and if there are even questions raised against him in the English media. But if I were there, I would certainly do that. So I mean, they've been doing that with Shubman's captaincy. Man, this Zach Rowley hasn't been scoring. He rightfully should get the question. So
I mean, Definitely, he had that one great innings in that second innings of the
And the second
first
innings,
test
he did
where he had a partnership with Duckett. But I would still say it was more Duck. I mean, both of them played well, but Duckett was the one who stole the show.
for
But
sure.
other than that one innings, he looked like very susceptible to the swinging ball.
He
He's
did.
gotten out to all three, like and the all three other innings to swinging balls, and
Hmm.
Lords is traditionally supposed to aid pacers with the kind of movement it produces. So if he doesn't perform in this test, it could be like a tricky situation for them.
Curtains.
Maybe, but I think this test he'll still like keep his place. What about
Sure.
Ollie Pope? You think they'll swap him for Bethel?
There's been talks. They could. Bethel is also sort of this part-time off spinner, if I'm not
Correct.
wrong. So he gives them an additional edge. Not that they don't have Joe Root,
Yeah.
but I don't think Ollie Pope can bowl, or is likely known for his bowling. So definitely brings in a different flavor. And Bethel, I think, is also known for his sort of aggressive base baseball batting.
Hmm.
So he could fit in really well. He's still young. As such, it seems to be a swap that is not likely going to hurt England in the sense that,
Yeah.
Ollie again hasn't really done much. Has he
He
scored? Did
has
he score?
100.
He scored 100 in the first innings, the first test match. Which again, other than that, he has shown obvious signs of, susceptibility. He hasn't really looked solid. So
Same Zach Raleigh problem, right?
Zach Crawley problem, exactly. So would I look at Bethel? I would definitely look at him, but probably likely give Ollie Pope another chance and
Yeah.
see, give him an extended rope to see where it goes.
Um, Given that their bowling lineup is potentially undergoing multiple changes in this game,
Yep.
I am inclined to think they would not want to make so many changes, and hence
In
their
batting
batting
as well
lineup
to sort of
might,
unsettle it. Agreed. Yeah.
yeah,
You bring up
that
a
might
great point.
probably
Yes.
stay as it is. But in bowling, like I think both of us are clear. Jofra will come in.
Jofra is yeah, highly likely going to come in. He's definitely fit. We could probably make a case whether he's match fit, has he really pulled long overs. But the fact that the rest of the English bowling lineup look jaded, especially Chris Wokes,
Yeah.
and Bryden Cars apparently has a toe injury.
Mm.
It just makes it more befitting that Jofra walks in, gives them that zest that they
Yeah.
so dearly lack.
Yeah, and I mean, Josh Tongue definitely was the most effective bowler in the last test. So Jofra Archer being a similar mode but better can maybe make that difference and maybe
Make the
hurry Indian
difference. Yep.
batsmen with his pace and bounce.
Yep.
Yep.
So, oh no,
So
I agree that could likely happen. Josh Tong is probably going to be the only bowler of the three sort of pace attack apart from Ben Stokes that's likely going to retain his place in the team.
that's again so funny. In the second test, we were like Josh Tongue goes out. That's about the change and done. Now he's flipped the
Mhm.
script where he's the one who's gonna stay.
Yeah, well, that's what one test match and one performance can do for you.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a brutal game
Like,
for sure.
yeah, I think more than him about him kind of doing enough to keep his place. I think the other two have really fallen off in the sense that Vokes has looked jaded. His age seems to have caught up with him after two games. I mean, back to back again, and especially a short turnaround for the third one.
Yep.
And Cars, unfortunately, has that injury. Otherwise, he was actually pretty effective in the first test. So,
He was pretty effective. Even in the second test, he did get a couple of wickets. He looked good with the bat. So he's definitely going to be a miss. If at all, for any uh as a package, he's definitely going to be missed.
yeah. So,
And I think
uh,
Gus Atkinson is could likely walk in as a replacement for Brandon
it's
Cars.
again, the thing that we spoke about at the beginning of the series was
Hmm.
that England don't have any swing bowlers other than Vokes and possibly just hit the deck or kind of moving bowlers.
Hmm.
This is probably the best ground for them in terms of how it aids more of the wicket movement than
Yep, yep,
swing
yep.
as Lords traditionally has.
Hmm.
So I mean, won't really. I mean, Gus Atkinson is again a very similar mold bowler compared to like a Chris Wokes. So I feel that might just be a
Be a
blessing in
good
disguise for England.
replacement, I think. Yep.
Yeah. So all in all, I think two changes for them. Like if you're stretching it three, but I will say two. Jofra Archer and Gus Atkinson come in for Cars and
Yep.
Hooks.
Yep. Agreed.
Uh, Man, it's like given a 2 day turnaround, 3 day turnaround time, it's
Hmm.
really gonna be interesting how both teams are. One big advantage for India is after a loss, we got that time to kind of recover, think about it, reset,
Sure.
and kind of come back. Now that we won, we have the momentum where we don't kind of let
We're
go in
probably
that.
itching to play and take the field again.
Exactly. So in that, having the next game soon will definitely aid us. I feel like in
Yep.
terms of the actual game time and the fact that we've made England stay on the field for so long, like had a demoralizing 300 run
Yep.
win, like defeat. So it's gonna be fun, like
It
watching the team
is. I
play on it
agree.
lot.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be both a physical and mental battle for England to sort of, put up a fight in the third test match. So,
Like the one thing that I want to highlight is that the Indian team as well, having done well in the first two games, the batting
hmm
especially. Lords is a completely different ball game, if you ask me, to
hmm
what they faced in the first two games. So, as a batting unit, they need to like keep their guard up.
Yep, I agree. And I was reading this online, which is again a news to me and new learning that Lord's pitch or Lords as a whole doesn't really come under ECB. They are sort of
Correct.
independently managed by this body called, MCB,
MCC.
MCG, I'm sorry, MCC. So, which is again good and bad both in the sense that England don't really have control over the kind of pitches they would expect or want to get made. And at the same time, as you said, they're probably going to make a more test match conducive wicket in
Yep.
the true sense of the word, where probably the pitch is going to degrade over the time. There's going to be some elements of both, pace and spin. So something I would look forward to. And if the recently concluded World WTC final was any example of, showing of what's to come, I would take such a test match. Like we don't really want another 600 game. Like, we
Yeah.
could take a 300, 350 game where the game is quick paced in the sense that, there is live action going and unveiling. It's just not batters running away with the score. So
I still don't want to see 14 wickets in a day. Like that,
well,
that I definitely.
that would be too rash and, too hard to take as well. That would be extreme swing from, what we
I
would
mean,
see.
I would love if India takes 10 wickets in a day, but
Yeah.
I don't want to see a test match where it's almost like, see, so far in the first two games it almost felt like it
Mhm.
was bat against bat, like my bat versus your bat. It
Oh, sure.
shouldn't be now my ball versus your ball, where it's like how quickly can I bowl you out. I want to see an even contest, and given that both the batting units are coming in with real. Actually, if you think about it, right,
hmm
in the World Test Championship final, South Africa and Australia especially in the ongoing West Indies Australia series, they've
Yep.
shown that batting has not been in good form.
Not been in
They
good touch.
have
Agreed.
looked very susceptible,
Very
so that
susceptible.
could also have built into how that Test match went.
hmm
Now that the Indian team and the English team is, I mean, English team, not everybody, but definitely like Pope has 100, uh,
Yes.
Duckett has a 150. You have Root, who's the number one batsman in the world, who hasn't had a big score, but he's due one. You have Brook and Smith, who are scoring like
You know
great
what?
runs.
That is one thing that makes me wary. Like of everything else, every other batter in the English team who has shown some signs of like form and runs, Joe Root is due a big one, and we all know that he's a man for like big occasions.
Yeah,
That is obvious. Let's put it out there. So,
yeah. I mean, he's the number one batsman in the world. No matter what you say, he's earned that spot. So,
yep.
I mean, given that everybody else around him have at least one big score, he's definitely
hmm
due one. I hope it's not in this game, but
True, 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 true.
you never know. So yeah, I mean it's gonna be super interesting, man.
All in all,
I'm
we are definitely going to be up for a great game.
Yep.
We'll see how it unfolds. Also, we have amongst ourselves a certain someone who's recently visited Lords for our viewers. Do you want to introduce that person into the discussion?
That person would be me. Uh, I mean this year it was a dream come true trip for me and my friends. Like I've traveled with, shout out to Gandhar, Gaurav, Tejal, Avishkar, my wife Pavitra. Like we traveled to uh, Yeah, I mean UK this year, the intention essentially originally was to watch football matches, like Liverpool, Man United games, and kind of make it a football trip. But then when you go to London, you really can't miss out on Lords, man. I mean, we had a tour. I remember me and Gandhar, we play cricket. We played for the same team when I in my previous where I lived. So. Uh, both of us, the moment we were entering Lords, it was literally like talking about it is giving me goosebumps.
I can
It
imagine
was, oh
your
man,
excitement is oozing through. So.
yeah, it was goosebump stuff, like where we were walking around the stadium, and like we while walking around we got like glimpses of the green, and it
Hmm.
was like surreal, especially when we got into the dressing rooms, the place where Dada twirled his shirt, and you have the
You could go
famous.
all the way back to the '83 winning World Cup balcony. So
See,
let's
I
go all
don't
the way up.
remember
Let's
that.
brag about it.
No, I don't remember seeing it, but I
No, of
remember
course.
seeing the Dada
The
moment live
visuals,
TV.
yeah.
So that we even asked them, like, where did he sit? Where was he sitting? And then she, at the end of the tour, she says, "We've had people ask whether it's okay if they twirl the shirt. No, it's not. You're not supposed to do that." And like it was funny, but I don't have the body for it. So, but it was
Neither
really
did Dada.
surreal.
Let's start there. But no, I see it.
It was surreal, but more. I mean, coming out of the memory lane and
Mhm.
going more cricket and our analysis. The thing I wanted to bring up was the Lord Slope. It's infamous. Everybody keeps talking about the Lord Slope, what the
Mhm.
slope is, how McGrath loved it, how he like kind of made English batsmen his bunnies whenever he visited England, and in the 2005 Ashes especially, and all. So I was really curious to know, like, what's the fuss about? And like, trust me, it's a huge slope. Like from I'll very conveniently tag a picture that I clicked. But it's like when you go from one end to the other, uh, like you literally see the ground sloping where you see the base of the seats be in line with the turf on one end, but
Mhm.
on the other end you see like a few meters, couple meters gap in between the seats
A knee length,
and
yeah.
the
Wow.
turf. Like that shows you what a huge gap there is. And I was
Mhm.
actually reading up on about like how big it is and all of that. So apparently at a point where Stephen Finn, who's like 6 feet 8, when he was standing on the lowest end of that slope, the upper end of the slope still started above him. Like
Oh my
that
God.
is how high, like how deep the slope is. The advantage that it's actually something for the batsmen and the bowlers, which is something I knew about the bowlers, but for the batsmen it was something I learned like very recently in my
Mhm.
research. For the bowlers, it's like from the pavilion end where McGrath infamously loved bowling, the slope goes from left to right, where essentially if you pitch the ball it comes in, like
Mhm.
it like natural slope, it pitches and it comes in. So if you can hit a length where it hits the stumps at pace, the ball kind of jags in naturally for you,
Man,
which is
looks like
difficult.
both Bumrah and Akashdeep are like relishing
Even
this.
Siraj, for that matter, Siraj
Yeah.
loves the wobble seam, but
Yep.
equally at the other end, the opposite slope, right? So the ball pitches and goes out. So any batsman is susceptible to playing inside the line and getting an outside edge. So again, Bumrah, Siraj, and Akashdeep,
Are
India sort
going
of
to be
win this
really
in the first
effective,
couple
I
of
know.
days. But
Wow.
the I mean, that is going to be a huge point because if you remember Brooks' wicket and the susceptibility that Gill has to the ball pitching and coming in,
Mhm.
both of those batsmen have shown that when the ball nips in off the wicket, they are troubled because of their bat arc and the way they play.
Right.
So it's gonna be a big challenge to see how they play, especially if Jofra Archer is back. If he bowls at that 145 full throttle
Wow.
150, to and Gill has a really bad record against him.
Mhm.
So it's gonna be super interesting how that battle pans out on this ground. And
Indeed.
the other thing that I learned was very interesting, that the slope is so pronounced that for a batsman who's actually standing upright, without you realizing, your head could fall. Like you could fall on the
Interesting.
offside, which is what Joe Ollie Pope is susceptible of, and he has shown that he kind of falls over, and if he's playing inside, or even
Hmm.
Joe Root for that matter, like he either like gets LBW or he was caught down the leg side this last game. So
Right.
this was something very interesting which I had not thought about, in the sense that as much as it is difficult for the bowlers, for the batsman as well, to actually get your head position right, you need to have really good, uh, how do I put this, stable base, and you have to
Hmm.
keep telling yourself to kind of keep standing straight. So I mean, combine those two, it's gonna be super interesting to see how uh, the
Indeed.
English batters as well as the
Hmm.
Indian batters fare. Because if the wicket, as you rightly mentioned, is gonna be not prepared by ECB, it could be a bowler friendly wicket. If the WTC final has anything to go by, I mean, it could be a game which could close out in 3 days,
I,
or
I'm relish. How do you put this? Relishing this contest as this. You have spiced the stuff and presented it in a platter. If I were a bowler, I am already marking my run up and I'm marking my stride. So,
no, I mean,
uh,
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it is definitely a unique ground to other, I mean, venues that we've played so far or will potentially play.
good.
So yeah, I mean, it's a contest. I'm sure after this win, both of us are like really itching to go.
I
Uh,
know, right?
yeah, I mean, can't really say
Yep.
highly enough of how excited we are. But yeah, any final thoughts before we sign off?
I don't know. I mean, I was good. I'm already excited if you can't see it in my face. I'm just thinking of memories of all the good games we've had at the Lords. 83
Yeah,
World Cup, the NatWest,
I
series
think
win.
didn't
We won the
Ishant
last.
Sharma also get them out with those short balls at
Yeah, I
Lords?
know. You're right. I don't know if he got his best bowling figures of 6 for 70 or 7 for 70, something
Something
or
like
he
that,
did
yeah.
get that. Back in the day, I think we had Bhuvi as well. So we have good memories
Correct.
with Bhuvi and Ishant in the team. And I think India did win the last test match we played here against England in the
Oh,
last
we did.
series. So we did, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm having the crick info, ESPN crick info, record screen
Ah,
on, and they did win by like good 150 runs.
who did
This was
well?
2021. We'll see. Now that you asked, let's just click on the scoreboard and see what happened in this test match. India batted first, and we scored 364. Um, KL Rahul coming in with a classy 129,
Hey!
and Rohit Sharma with an 83. The first wicket fell at 126, and
Wow.
we seem to be pretty strong there. James Anderson took 5 wickets.
He is not playing anymore.
He's not playing anymore. And then England's first innings, they scored 391, 30 odd runs more than what we did. And Joe Root not out at 180. He was the only batsman who got going. Everyone else was like sub 40s, sub 50s, and a lot of single digit
Like
scores.
things are kind of pointing
I
towards
know, I
a
know.
big one from him.
Ishant and Siraj got 3 and 4 wickets apiece, so that's good. And then Shami got two. Again, point I'm trying to make is really paces are really really going to come into the play. And then trading by 30 odd runs, India second innings we score 298 for 8 declared. Guess
Wow.
what? Mohammad Shami scored 56 runs, which is the second highest in the innings. And then Jasprit scored 34 not out.
Man,
The last innings, ninth wicket partnership was around 90 runs. So we were 809 for 8, and then from 209 for 8, from there we went to 298 for 8. So, and then
no, I
England
I
had a target
remember
of.
this. I just don't remember it being at Lords. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then rightfully so, England were chasing 272 for as their target, and they got bundled out for 120 runs. Can you imagine? Mohammad Siraj chipping in with 4 wickets again, and Jasprit Bumrah got three. So wow.
Yeah, I mean, good. I mean, see, I think the one thing that this series or the last game has shown us, that history
Mhm.
precedent like presidents does not kind of tell you
Right.
much
Sure.
in the sense
Yeah,
that,
agreed.
I mean, India had never won at Edgbaston. We won. The four the in the last 4 or 5 games, the team chasing had won all. Like we defeated them by 300 odd runs.
True.
But see, as long as the one thing that goes wrong in that prediction in that past scorecard is Joe Root scoring less, I am happy.
For sure. We'll take that any day, every day. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But that's nice to jog down the memory lane to see like what Shami and Bumrah
what
do. See,
unfolded. Yep, yep, yep.
it's so interesting, right? We were having the conversation about our India's tail problems, not delivering, like last game, kind of hanging around, and then you have this where,
We've got a different tails wagging this time around. So,
yeah, I
yep,
mean, sure, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be super exciting. Uh, yeah,
yep, yep.
yep.
All in
Looking
all,
forward to it.
oh, absolutely. I just can't wait for the next 2 days to, pass through and, for us to begin the third test match.
Okay.
Mm.
So okay, let's call it at this moment. For our viewers, please do like, share, and subscribe. I'll definitely try to add a picture of the lords that I
I
clicked
will certainly
at the
do.
point. Yeah. And yeah, it was really nice talking to you. And yeah, we'll come
Awesome.
back after the third test, hopefully beaming again to talk about India's victory. Fingers crossed.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks all for joining. Until the next time.
Thank you. See you. Bye bye.
Peace.
Peace.